Hello Year 7, welcome to measuring and classifying angles. Let's get started. So an angle is where we measure how far apart two arms are, and you can see we've got these two arms here and they're a certain amount apart. Now if I take these two arms and I rotate one all the way around, we say that it's traveled 360 degrees. But there's nothing actually special about the number 360. It's a good number to use because it's super composite. That means it has a lot of factors. So if we want half of 360, a third of 360, a tenth of 360, a quarter of 360, those are all nice whole numbers. It also works well because there's close to 360 days in a year, but not exactly. And some ancient societies actually used a base 60 number system, so it worked well with them. But once you get to high school a little bit later on, you'll see that we use another way of measuring angles called radians, and that does have a much more mathematical reason. But let's get started with our types of angles. So the first kind of angle is if I've got an angle and I call it theta. This is the Greek letter theta. We often use Greek letters when we refer to angles. It's any angle that's between 0 and 90 degrees, and it's an acute angle. A right angle is an angle that's exactly 90 degrees. An obtuse angle is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. A straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. And a reflex angle is somewhere between 180 and 360 degrees. And this 360 degree angle, sometimes we call it a revolution. Okay, so now that we've seen our kinds of angles and we know about our degrees, let's see if we can measure them. So I'm going to measure this angle here. And you can see I've accidentally left my protractor on my table. You'll need a protractor to do this too. So I've got some angle. I don't know how big it is, so I've got no idea how big this angle is. So watch how I measure it. I get my protractor and I get the center of my protractor and I put it on the middle. So here's the center of my protractor. It's on the vertex of this angle. And now I'm going to rotate my protractor down until it lines up with one of the arms of the angle like this, and I can just read how big this angle is. And to me, it looks like it's about 72 degrees, 73 degrees. Let's call it 72 and a half degrees. And if you haven't seen this little symbol before, this is the degree sign. It's like a little circle which I put up here, and it means there's 72 and a half degrees in it. And I've also got another measure in here. This measures the obtuse angle, so it's going to measure, if I wanted to measure an obtuse angle on this side, how big would it be? And it would be a bit under 110 degrees, because this acute angle and this obtuse angle would make a straight angle along here. So you can see I don't actually have to work out the angle on this side. The little protractor in the middle tells me what this obtuse angle would be. Alright, now that we've seen how to measure an angle, let's see if we can draw one. So here we go. Draw a 45 degree angle, and you can see I've got my tools already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by drawing a line, and I'll get my ruler to measure my line. And I can draw my line from anywhere, but let's draw it along here like this. And I'm going to rule a line. And this is going to be the first part of my angle. Now I want 45 degrees, so I'm going to get my protractor. I'm going to put the base of it here along my, and I said line, but you know what I should say is interval, because it doesn't go on in infinite directions. This is actually an interval. If I wanted to make it a line, I'd have to put arrows on each end, and if I wanted to make it a ray, I'd just put arrows on one end. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look along my protractor here, and I want a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to go up here till I find 45 degrees, and here it is. And I'm just going to make a little mark here. So here's my 45 degrees. All right, time to move away the protractor, and I'm going to get my ruler, put my ruler along here, and then I'm going to move my ruler up here just so it goes through this little dot here, and let's draw my interval or my line or my ray. Depends how many arrows I put on it. So here we go, and let's take a look at it. There you go. So that's how we draw a 45-degree angle using a ruler and a protractor. Okay guys, your homework is to do Cambridge 7, 2B, and you can do all the questions because they're very, very quick to do. A lot of them's just looking at an angle and saying what kind of angle it is. Okay guys, thanks very much. See you next time.